Alright, so I'm going to be doing a VOD review for Solitude. They play Sojourn and Ashe on Blizzard World. Um, and the match ranks Masters 5-3. I don't know exactly where you fall within that, but it doesn't really matter, right? Somewhere in low mid Masters, right? Which looks about right. So you're trying to reach Grandmaster, right? Give me 1 second here. And you're hoping to get some feedback. You're maintaining, or you're having trouble maintaining constant pressures, DPS, right? And since second point's particularly hard, second points is hard to take on this map, really. It can be really quite difficult to start with, but I'll show you in this replay, you actually had a really huge time frame to actually take second that you just completely ignored, right? When I first, saw this response, I thought or when I first saw your post, I thought the mistakes would be more difficult to see, given that you're, master, low mid masters or whatever. But I think they're really apparent to me. First and foremost, your positioning needs a lot of work. You're too consistently stacked main with your team when you should be trying to force angles way more often than you are right now, right? And like as an aside with Sojourn, right? When you slide, it doesn't really feel like you're sliding to reach like some sort of off angle or like spot where you're safe, but you just kind of like slide in the open a lot of times and just don't consider the consequences of where you slide, and you're just getting punished for it like well, about half the time this match, right? Um, I should say half the time directly because you die, and the other half the time you just can't get value because you just do not slide to a good spot, right? It's kind of a positional mistake, right? The problem with playing main is if their tank just face tanks all your damage, you're just unlikely to just run through, right? Because it's really easy for them to take cover and just get double pocketed, and you're just going to eat random spam, right? Especially against their comp, right? They have a lot of spam, on Sig, whatever, Farah and Torb. So they're just like randomly spam almost like about where your tank is. Not to say you sit right with them, which is good, but you're just more liable to take random spam when you're too close, right? Um, when you force angles, and I'll show you what this looks like in the game. Um, yeah, it's just way harder for them to hit you, right? Because they have to move their crosshair more, and they have to like consider what target to shoot. Right, if you have good target priority, good positioning, it is almost like really straightforward, right? Apologize. Secondly, you're not keeping track of like player numbers, like if your team's up or down players well enough, right? And you're not allowed to play as aggressively as you could be, right? I bring this up especially on second when you like fight first and cap it out. You just sit in the choke when there's like a huge opportunity for you to immediately go upper and pretty much immediately win the second point. You just don't take it and you sit on lower, right? Um, right. And there's another point later on in this game, right, when you just kind of lose your tank instantly and you just don't respond soon enough, and you just kind of like that mistake kind of like culminates in you dying, like, and getting forced off point 30 seconds later, right? So, yeah, so keeping more track of the player numbers is just going to be very beneficial for you. I apologize for all the random pauses. Yeah, nothing I can do about that right now. Yeah, and there's a bunch of like other odd things that you can work on, right? Target priority could use like a tiny bit of work, and you just kind of um give value to enemy cooldowns unnecessarily sometimes, but I'll go over that like case by case, right? So those are the two big things, right? If you improve on these, I think you'll just immediately start ranking up. Well, that might be a bit of an exaggeration because it'll take a while to get it correct, right? But once you kind of implement them, then you'll just start ranking up like after that. This is fine, right? Some rail off your shield. I think it's okay to waste your slide early against this comp, right? They don't have mobility, and you can easily just play on spam range or like outside their spam range, right? Sig's only gonna shoot to like about here. So if you like slide through here, right, you have a much better angle. You have the mega here just immediately, and you can start pressuring the Pharah, so she can't just fly behind the shield, right? And this is like the power of creating angles, right? If you just stack main, oh, she's not like in a great spot right now, but like if she just moves to the right or your right, it's just like slightly, she'll just take 0 damage, right? But if you're over here, the Sig can't shield 2 angles at once, right? And the Pharah can't shoot 1 choke point, or more than 1 choke point at once, right? Like I said, I guess like hit scan, I'd be much more wary because you can just get 2-tapped by an Ashe or something, or just insta-killed by a Widow. But since they don't have hit scan, there's like very little risk for you doing it, right? And right, they also don't have like dive, so you can't get rushed for like you can't like get punished anyways, right? The only thing it does is make you have more damage uptime sooner, right? Again, you slide here. I don't like sliding top because I believe their Sigma still has rock. You actually, fortunately for you, you mess it up. Oh, actually, he used it. I did not pay attention. But still, you don't want to be close to a tank like 99% of the time. He still has grasp regardless. So like this is really risky because if you just like you know, you can definitely die here. If you go into a tank, you see like the Torb turret's gonna hit you for free. You get spammed by the Torb, right? So really, you should just be able to just sit on the ground and like do something else, right? Yeah, I just don't like, you know, going into the tank like that. If you're gonna do it, the time to do it would be to synchronize it with your tank, right? You see, you go a bit early, but alternatively, right, in the time your tank is like setting up to dive high, you could just keep walking left and creating even a bigger angle, or just come this way sooner, right? So they can't just like absorb all of your damage. This is not a good place to be against Pharah, right? If she caught onto you sooner, she could have like concussed you in and just 2-shot you. She might not have concussion there, because she just got res, but just if you didn't see it get used, just assume they have it, right? This is okay here, right? Like you're not necessarily getting a kill, but you're still forcing this Pharah out. Because you see, she has to back up this long angle, which gives you a lot of opportunities to get the kill on her, or like guarantee to force her out, right? Small thing, I'm sure you know, but don't shoot the grasp. It doesn't give you real charge. So. Okay, give me 1 second. Kind of made a mistake in real life here. So here, right? Oops, far back. It's alright. You see no one's high? Actually, you got your slide first. That's my mistake. This is pretty fine here, right? Just getting spammed by the Torb. It's okay, the Torb turret. So you see your Genji up here, right? What you should probably do, in my opinion, right, is use the fact that the Genji and your tank are about to distract their entire team by going upper, and use the fact that you have the Ana pocket to just 1v1 this Torb, or like 2v1 this Torb effectively, right? Like if you just push into this guy right now, he's all alone. Like he literally cannot get healed by anyone on his team. He's completely isolated, and his turret just got destroyed, right? So like he's just more killable than the people up top. Right? Use the fact that you're distracted to your advantage. You take the 1v1, right? Your team overextends, isn't aware that they still land speed, right? You let the Torb set up on the off angle and just pressure you out, right? When you had like a clear opportunity to get the pickle, right? Of course, I ended on your death, right? It was pretty avoidable because the Torb was overextended, right? If you just pushed him, you know, you can ping him, right? Or you just play cover super well there, and you should win that 1v1, right? When he doesn't have his turret, your movement should be good enough as long as you play near cover. And again, you don't necessarily need to kill him, you just need to force him off that off angle. In his case, it was more or less a flank. Okay, good kill. Yep, this is fine. Just go high. Okay, I'm gonna clue what that window was. I'd honestly just wait for the window to expire, right? They have a lot of spam, even though you kill the Torb. If they just randomly like spam like a rock or like Sigma balls or rockets through this window, you can just get one shot, right? There's no real reason to risk it. Just let them use an ult in this terrible spot and get 0 value, right? Like you just capped out. I mean, granted, your spawn's right here, but you just don't want to die, right? Yeah. Regardless, like once window expires, it's fine to go high, right? Pretty decent off angle. So here, once you have rail, right, you should be looking to target a squishy, right? Especially if you're ult. Just build a rail off the tank. Just look for someone to shoot in the back line, right? They're gonna have a really hard time getting off of here because they don't have hit scan. So use that to your advantage, right? Like the Sig is not doing too much damage, but you end up doing it, but it could have been a little faster, right? This is good, right? You shouldn't be dying. You have both your supports alive, right? So even if you get fluxed, you still get the kill on the Mercy. You probably should not die there. Right, especially because your tank kills the Pharah at the same time. So here, this is what I was talking about, right? When you slide in, you're not thinking about where you're landing, so you just land in the open, right? It's just kind of like a waste of slide. Alternatively, if you just walk forward, right? Because you can't die in this position. You're both your supports alive, right? And this thing is not going to do enough DPS to like kill you. What you can do is slide up here, right? Maybe start challenging the Torb with your team, or like slide up here and just start shooting the BAP in the back line, and just like secure the fight for your team, right? So like this is what I mean with like you just lose your number advantage. You see, you let them leave, right? You have like a ton of opportunities. You see like they're down 2 players, and you're just sitting on a car. You got to be the one that goes forward. It takes an angle, right? It just denies them from getting like set up in the first place, right? Like yeah, you do it now, but see how much opportunity you had in the first place, right? Let me rewind, right? You have your slide right now, right? And this is completely ignoring the fact that you could have slid up 7 seconds ago to like the top of this turret and been in like a more aggressive angle, right? Where you're still like perfectly safe. And like, since you still like hesitate to use your number advantage, right? The DPS or the Pharah and the Mercy respawn and make it way harder for you to take angles again, right? See, like they're already set up, right? The Torb was running away, I think, like here, and he managed to rotate all the way over here. And the BAP was main, like with the tank, right? And he managed to get up here now, right? So I'm sure you can see like how easily they're able to rotate just because you're literally not standing up here, denying them from walking up here, right? And if you're up here, you just force out lamp that much sooner, right? From the BAP, right? Because he's lamp again. You force it out here, and you just don't get spammed out by the Pharah because she's literally not alive, right? This is like the big opportunity you miss just by not going aggressive enough, right? When you have the number advantage.
Hello.
Right, this is another opportunity, right? You see your Genji go in with Nano Blade. You know, a little slow, right? I think your problem is that you're trying to like go in exactly with him to see what he's like swinging on, but really what you should be doing is like, for example, sliding up here, using the fact that he's drawing literally all the attention on your team and trying to blow up anyone he's like swinging on, or just like kill the people that are shooting him, right? Like, for example, right now, this Torb is completely isolated. Like, look how bad this guy's positioning is. And you can just, like, spam you need healing and just get healed, no problem. Right? You're in LOS of your supports. If you get too low, you just drop, right? You have a lot of options here. If you somehow start losing this 1v1, or you can literally just sit here. Right? I think you can stand, like, literally right here and shoot the Sig, right? It might be a little difficult to see him, but, like, you see you have a lot of options. If you just slide to a different angle, instead of, like, sliding in and you go, oh, man, I just completely wasted my slide. Because you're just not thinking about what you want to slide to. You create an angle before you slide, right? Fortunately, you see you're down 2, right? This is a good opportunity to get out. You don't have your ult, so it's very unlikely. Or you, yeah, it's very unlikely in terms of this fight, so. Just waiting is okay.
My ultimate is charging.
It's okay, right? You could land a little bit higher, right? You could land on the thing right here, right? You're still pretty safe from rocket spam, and you can just have a better angle on her, right? You can jump up here, for example. Or alternatively, you can come over here, right? The angle isn't great, but you can potentially catch her off guard. I think you still have like decently high rail. If you hit her once, she might just die to your hazard, right? Not the end of the world though, right? Unfortunate, your soldier speeds. Doesn't really do. This is obviously kind of a mistake, right? When your soldier's dead, you should be using that time to like set up on a more aggressive angle because like your team can't commit anyways, or just literally wait for him to come back, right? Just going in now, you see like if you just stayed here, right? Unfortunately, you didn't. But if they were just spamming here for like just because like this is a really common place for people to walk up, you could have just eaten like a ton of spam and just died for it, right? Um, it's kind of like not going main is so important, right? Yeah. So like alternatively, what you can be doing right now is like forcing, for example, this angle down here, right? You can keep walking out here, right? See, when you're in the open, but you have decent cover here, the Pharah's gonna have a hard time killing you from this range, and you can just slide away and get the Mega in here. Or you can continue sliding in here, get the Mega, right? Just draw everyone back, right? Or alternatively, you can come down all the way over here, right? Uh, Definitely riskier, but if they're not paying attention, you could have like an intro here, right? These are just like two obvious, like the two most obvious examples, right? Here, you probably want to wait for your spawner to get back and your tank to actually engage, so you don't just get spammed out immediately, right? But it is another option, right? Based on where they're standing right now, I probably would not do that, but it is like something you can consider, right? Maybe not that exact scenario. Right, again, here, this is like really painful to watch, honestly, right? You just saw the Torbas here, and your tank gets a really good ult. Like the difference between you sliding in there and you literally sliding up here is night and day, right? If you're up here, you shoot the Mercy still, and you're way harder to hit, right? I mean, I guess the Sig spam you out, but you have a lot better ways to break cover from the Sig at this position, right? Than you do from the Torb, right? If he wants to shoot you right now, you're like screwed. He can follow you no matter what you do, right? I get you wanted to deny the res, but you should have been like high earlier to begin with, right? You had like a lot of opportunities. I'll rewind a bit. Just to show you, slide high ground to begin with. See, you feel like you're losing all damage pressure, right? But like you almost could have built another slide in the amount of time you sound. Okay, maybe that's a little disingenuous, but you probably could have had like another half slide, right? Yeah. So I'm just goes to show you like how important just position slightly different is, right? You just don't want to put yourself in the middle of that team like ever.
My ultimate is charging. What's happening? Oh!
Disrupting.
A little too close, right? This is not where you want to be against the Pharah. You have no reason to get closer, because if she can cusses you in, you can just instant die, right? If she is missed here. If she was better, you would have died, right? You see, you're like taking these engagements that are too close, but you should be primarily concerned with holding the angle, so they're not even allowed to peek high ground, right? All you're doing now is sliding in, getting too close, forcing your supports to heal you, right? Instead of doing damage, and it's immediately giving up all the positional like progress you just made because you get spammed out for being too close, right? You have 100% rail, right? Go for shots a little sooner, right? I think you also have a small tendency on Sojourn to sit at like 90+% on rail and just not fire it. Just literally look for a target as soon as possible. Because like the higher you climb, right, you're just gonna have to be a little bit faster than you are now, right? I don't think it's an aim issue. You just have to be a little faster, target acquisition wise, right? Be more a little more aware that you have rail. Right? Sometimes, literally like a second or two is the difference between you getting a pick and you just like getting spammed out, right? And I will say, because you like spend all this time, it seems like a really small thing, right? You spend all this time rotating away, right? And look what that allows the Pharah to do, right? She went from all the way, like, here, and she's soon going to be, like, way closer to you, and also lets the Sig walk closer to you, because you're not constantly shooting, right? It seems like a really small deal, but, like, look how much more aggressive they are able to get on you, just because you kind of waste all that time there. And you can already shoot people from where you're standing, so just go for it, right? It's good enough. You don't need to be, like, the exact 100% perfect spot. It's okay, unfortunately your Ashe dies, right? Definitely risky, right? Because you see how close they are. But again, they don't have like good speed. So like the only thing you really have to worry about is getting like the Pharah just being right above this doorway and just like concussing in. Not that the world. Mess up your slide a bit right there. It's okay. I think you still have ammo here. Another like small thing. Just keep shooting, right? Okay. Yeah, you still have 30 bullets, right? No reason to reload. Just keep shooting. Help your hazard, like try to help him bail out, and maybe you just get a pick on the Pharah, right? She's not shooting you, so like there's no reason to rush this, right? I know she ends up shooting you like the moment you slide out, but you had like a second or two there. Okay, this is fine. Right, I'd be trying to look at this Pharah, especially if you have ult, right? If you have ult, if you rail the Pharah once and just pop ult, you could probably just kill her, right? Opportunity to immediately get a pick, just like completely allow yourself to stay high, right? Again, this isn't a good position ult from. It's just low ground, it makes it really easy to spam, right? But that's okay, the Pharah overcommits and kills herself to kill you, so that's okay. Like she's not in a resable position. Right, again, right, single point, pushing the floor, right, you have a lot of opportunities to go up sooner, right? Your tank was in, you gotta go, right? And again, sliding in too close. If you slide in and this guy sees it, you could just get punished because he ults, right? He's tracks your slides, or like when you land, alright, what am I trying to say? When you land, he just ults you because you can't move fast enough to get out of the thing, so, it's not the end of the world, right? But by being closer, right, if he ults you, it makes it easier for his teammates to shoot you, right? So that's something to consider. Not the end of the world here because they're all getting thrown or forced off the angle by your tank, right? And I don't like the target priority here, right? I'd be helping your nano tank do whatever he's doing, right? Help him fight the Torb, I think, right? Because this guy, even though he's like way overextended, if he doesn't get like slept, it's unlikely he'll die, right? Or like you'll, because he was full health, right? It's unlikely you'll be able to actually stop his yeah, no real reason to slide there, right? You weren't getting shot, so now you're just like, oh, sorry, you're stuck on the floor, right? You can't do anything. Yeah, right. Imagine like if you just already were high ground, right? You know where they windowed from, and you wouldn't just be like blind jumping into it, and you'd be able to see where they're peeking from. You're not going to get insta killed by the bat from this range, especially because like you see he can't even see you, right? You can definitely reactively kill the Pharah, right? If you see the window, you can just drop down here, right? Go for a flank, maybe 1v1 the Storm, go up on this angle, right? They're definitely not going to expect that. Chuck whatever thing is called, your orb at this thing, right? You have options. It's kind of a troll by your tank, but you see, like, the problem is you just keep going high ground and just dropping for no reason a lot of the times, right? And, yeah, you use good rocket by the far right in front of you can see. Like, the main problem is just you just keep, like, going high and dropping off for kind of, like, not very good reasons. Okay, on to defense, right? I think this first fight's like the fight after you guys capped the first point, right, on offense was a really good example of like how you weren't aggressive enough when you got player picks, right? And this is a good example of how you're not aggressive or passive enough when you're like when your team gets picked, right? Especially when it's your tank. It's just very unlikely you'll be able to swing the fight, right? When you have no ults or no other good damage, right? Like if he gets everyone really low, it's this chance, right? You just need to back out way sooner, right? It's very unlikely you'll be able to kill like the Pharah because she, as you can see, she can easily play cover, right? So when your tank dies, you just gotta get out way sooner, right? Look how close you let these people get before you start backing, right? Like it seems like a small detail, but they're within their effective range against you now, right? And you always want to stay like not too far away, so they're just gonna randomly spam you, but not too close, so it's easier for them to spam you, right? You want to play at like your fall off range, but not like too close, right? Where they can just easily spam you, right? Obviously, it's not like you're in the middle of their team, but it's still way too close. Like, look, this is not where you want to be, right? This thing just didn't shoot you for like zero reason, right? And you get your coach gun forced out here, because you're too close for too long, right? But if like the moment your Doom died, you for example dropped on the floor, right? You can still like hold this angle for a little bit longer, right? Just shoot him as they funnel in, walk back here. For example, coach gun up here, and now your positioning is like significantly better, right? You just have to do it way sooner, right? And this mistake just completely loses your first point, right? I mean, it's your Doom's mistake repeating, but you like continue to play into it, right? Because you're staying forward for too long, you can't take the angle because you don't have your coach gun, right? Because it got forced earlier. And now, because you can't take the angle, they can just walk in for free, right? You just get spammed with the choke, which is not where you want to be against like a projectile spam comp, right? And you end up actually dying for it, right? Like, I'm sure you can see how bad this feels. One thing you can do is like a Hail Mary here, right? Your entire team's choke. You can coach cut this way, right? This is risky, right? But your team's already like not in a good spot. And for example, start looking at the Ashe. And in the back, you know, start shooting the Pharah, right? She's low, start shooting the Sig, right? You have like good cover here, right? If you start getting spam, no problem. You just walk here to even the Mega, right? And the fire is too far away to like concuss into you, right? So use the fact that like they don't have good ability to damage, right? But yeah, this is not a good this is not a good spot to do, right? You just had to commit to something like way sooner, right? You got to dying for it, right?
Still charging up.
Stop the payload. The enemy's got a turret.
I apologize for being a little slow here, right? But you notice how there's Sig caps, right? And he immediately starts walking high, right? Okay, I guess he like goes low to kill you first, right? Or actually, no, he like literally shoots you here and is already walking high ground, right? This is what you want to be doing when you have a number advantage, right? He's just instantly taking space, right? I guess he slows down a little there to see where his team is, right? You see, like he's in a really good spot. I think he accidentally drops, right? This is what you wanted to be doing to them on first, right? To just completely deny their exit, right? If this guy stayed high ground, your entire team dies.
The enemy returns.
Absolutely no doubt. Messes up his mechanics a bit and falls, right? But like that's what you want to be doing, right?
You owe me one.
Here, it's fine. End of the world.
Thank you.
I'd be potentially looking to fight this Torb, right? Just because he's way easier to kill than Sig. Even though you're like tank's fighting tank, your tank should be able to get out. Like now, this is like too close now, right? Again. Apologize. You just had to take the fight with the Torb earlier, right? Or just shoot the Sig and back up as you're fighting him because he was walking for that entire time, right? This is obviously like way too close. And again, coach is forced. You're still like in a really bad spot, right? Just spam down, die.
Now to show them I'm in business.
Okay, walking back. Probably should have fast forwarded here, but that's okay.
My ultimate is
I'm sure you can see, like, but their team absolutely rolled first. You guys almost stopped them from capping. I think they have like a minute and a half left at the end of this or something, like, or maybe even less than that. Yeah, this point's just really hard to cap. So like, it's okay to like get help with this point sometimes, right? Ideally, obviously, we want that to happen. Okay, that's okay. I wouldn't expect you to do that either. So I mean, like, good aim. I don't think your aim's a problem at all. Again, like, this is another position where you should be like realizing that you literally just killed two of them. Why are you bombing, right? The odds they win this fight with like an under half health Sig, even though he's ulting, right? You still have both your supports alive. Like if you die here, or if anyone on your team dies to a Sig that has 0 DPS on his team alive, right? Or I guess his Torb's alive, but you kill the Far and the Mercy, right? That's missing 2 players, your team's destroying you. You're just gonna lose the game anyways, right? You want to be making the right calls all the time, right? I think your ults, in general, maybe that's like a third point I'd look into. Your ults seem a little like rushed sometimes, and not like time the best, right? Again, that's like a small thing. You know, we've been talking about a lot. We've been talking about a lot of small things this entire review, though. So yeah, totally unnecessary there, right? I'm sure you can imagine. You should have been able to win that fight, bro, without that ult.
I'm on my game now.
Here, this is a position. Never mind. That's okay. I guess you're waiting, or you don't want them to come back or like ball tracer or something. You touch card. This is okay. Yeah, this is fine. Right. You know they're all dead, so they didn't make any swaps, so this is okay. Right. If you're up there sooner, you could like stop the Pharah from walking forward a bit more, right? I think dynamite wasn't great. You know, it's difficult to dynamite the flying targets, right? It's just more consistent to shoot them, I should say. But I understand why you're in your cart, right? It's okay, right? I feel on defense, your position, like overall, better once you have time to set up. It's just like on offense a lot of times you're just not thinking about it fast enough. And when you're getting pressured, right, like the player ad thing, you're just also not thinking about it fast enough, right? It's okay. Right, forcing away the Torb, still okay, right? Against like the Pharah, you don't want to be backing into here, right? Because she can just spam the floor for free, right? You should be playing like out here. You still have like cover from the Torb, for example, and you still have cover with this thing, right? But she can't just spam the angle, right? And just spam you out for free, right? If she just literally shoots like the middle of this thing, you're like guaranteed to get damage. Right? And because you like backed up against the Pharah, right? It seems like a small detail, but because you just played like in a slightly like wrong position, right? Or didn't play to your strengths, right? She forces you off your angle, right? And you see, like, because you get forced off the angle, you have to make this really long rotation, right? I think it's okay. Then you need to go lower because you know there's Sigmas on cart. You don't know how healthy he was there. But in retrospect, obviously knowing how low the Sig is, you probably could have just stayed here, blown up the Sig, because your Doomfist just instantly like pushes him anyways, right? That's a hard call to make at the time. You know, I don't think I would have done that either. Okay, it's good. Right, good.
Still charging up. My ultimate is charging.
No real reason to drop here, right? You can keep pressuring above high ground, right? It's not the end of the world. Not this time. I'm sure you can see if you're high ground, right? If they throw up a shield here, right, you can just walk over this way, right? You can even drop over here. You keep trying to take a wider angle, depending on exactly where the shield is, right? You can even coach gun. Well, I guess I should have been paying more attention. If you had coach gun when you were up there, I think you did. You could have coach gun above the shield. Yeah, you had to have based on the timing. Right. You just missed out potential kill Torb there, right? Yeah, card's close, so I understand playing here, right? Ideally, you know, you're not the best person on your team to touch, but like that's your Doom, but he also doesn't want to give up space. Like this would be way better if you're on Tracer or Reaper or May or something, right? The problem with them is they're just more survivable, right? That's why it's better. The problem is they just give up a lot of space by playing here, right? So it's kind of like a give and take. Once the team gets the card, you're worse, right? There is one thing, right? When you notice they're not on like flankers, you can afford to be playing a bit more aggressive, right? You can even potentially like play all the way down here, right? And just like control this choke point here, make it really hard for the Pharah to fly in. You can also see this flank here. When you start getting pushed, you just walk over this way and coach gun back up, right? Again, they don't have like great ways of punishing you for like using your coach gun like that. Right? Okay, right, good damage. Again, I'd be looking to get a bit more aggressive here because they don't have a Tracer or something or a ball, so... Or Lucio, something like that, right? Just kind of letting your team fight 4-4. But I still get it, right? At this point, though, the cart is, like, kind of far away from the cap-out point. Like, you can see it's pretty far. So your Doom's gonna have time to come back and touch, right? It's a tough call to make, right? You have to rely on a random there. Definitely a little tough. But you see your angle here where they're fighting is not, like, great. Okay, good shots, right? Again, not really a fan of this bomb. This time, like, you're even, right? Because your whatever gets picked. But the only person you can see is a tank, right? Like, if they get bomb picked, right? You have to rely on them not having boosters or any of their matrix, which is like a really fast cooldown, right? And chances are, right, your Mercy gets the res on the Soj. I don't know exactly where she was. Yeah, okay, this is good here, right? My point is, I don't think bomb is necessary there, right? You could probably just shot the D.Va there, and the outcome would have been the same, right? Not the end of the world, because I feel like this is a lot better than the first one, right? Because the fight was even, right? Yeah, that's why. Yep, good catch, right? Catch your Twerp, try to move fast one, right? Definitely a possibility, even their team comp is like good for it, right? This is another opportunity to get more aggressive, right? You pretty much team wiped. Again, this is another opportunity to come down here, right? Definitely riskier because they have the D.Va now, because she can capitalize, but you're so far away, right? that she's gonna have to like. It's really gonna be like really like obvious, right? You can just literally play here, right? And you'll be able to catch like if she boosters. She's gonna have to use at least 2 boosters to get to, right? Definitely still riskier, right? Because if you play too close or like too off the correct angle, easier to punish, right? But the trade-off is you make it way harder for them to walk and like take what they're taking down, right? Here, I don't like dropping for the Torb, right? Just because his character is a close range character, right? Like, if you have to, like, if you're about to tap out and drop, then you just drop too early right here, and you let yourself get like killed by the Ana, right? She takes an angle, while the Torb is also taking another angle, and you just get killed from the distraction, right? But you see, you still have a lot of time to play with here before full caps, and then this time you can like just kill the Ana for peeking all alone here, right? A good thing about like running into the Mercy is like if you use hard focus or other support, the Mercy is going to be forced to like pocket the support instead of damage boosting their pocket, right? So you're kind of like killing 2 birds with 1 stone because the Mercy's healing is not very good. So yeah, unfortunate. And this is like a chain of events here, right? You drop low for kind of like no reason, force your Mercy to res, right? Which puts her off of pocketing whoever she was and lets these people walk in top, right? So like that seems like a really like small mistake, you know, like whatever I got rezzed or whatever. But you see like the enemy team's just able to take whatever angle they want now because the Mercy can no longer pocket the Sojourn. Yeah, so now you're obviously not in a good spot because you cannot deny any angles. This is a good flank, right? Again, pretty good aim. I don't think this is a problem. Here, right, you kill the Ashe. You should be coaching high to split their attention, right? Your Doom's on a card. You literally see him on card. You're just not a character that you see, like, get insta killed. If they're better, you just would have died even sooner, right? You have no support. Your Doom's already there. What you should be doing right now is trying to shoot the people that aren't the diva. And buying time for your team to come back, right? And trying to like stabilize the fight by picking off her backline. Like in this position, you just have to. Because if they just like focus you on cart, you just like obviously you just instantly die here, right? Your Doom's already there, right? Sure, you can see, right? Been dead for about 10 seconds. You had a lot of opportunities to like, go for picks as your Doom is distracting the people card, right? Let me go a little further back. They're probably too far away, unfortunately. Yeah. I was gonna say potentially if your team was like a little closer, they maybe could have stalled, right? Actually, you know what? Maybe if you kept looking to get picks on the backline, right? Maybe your Sojourn stalls there, or maybe your Doom doesn't take so much damage. He gets nanoed for the stall instead, right? Like, it seems like a small mistake again, but like you kind of like get paid for it, majorly, right? Probably you still lose the fight, right? The diva just goes off cart, kills you instead of fighting the Doom, but still, that buys time for your Doom to stabilize, right? It's not taking damage, right? So again, I'll reiterate, big problem is positioning, right? I'm sure you can see that there are a lot of opportunities for you to like take different angles from your team, and like force angles sooner, and help your team walk, right? And if you just take these positioning sooner, right, you're just gonna make it harder for the enemy team to walk into because you're literally just already holding an angle and making them forced to take damage before they walk to you, right? And kind of like building off this point, right? You just have to be like more aware of the number situation, right? Like who's upping numbers, right? Because there are a lot of missed opportunities in this game. Like I showed you like 2 big ones where you like wasted a lot of time, right, and a lot of opportunities to like instantly win the second point, and you just like instantly lost the first point, right? I mean, part of that was your Doom feeding, right? But part of it was definitely you just waiting like 10 seconds too long to back, right? Um, I'm sure like the other tips, right? Uh, yeah, that we went over this replay will also help, right? Yeah. So I hope this helps.